Welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. I know it's been a while since we last chatted because I took my winter hiatus seriously. Sure did. And during the time of my winter hiatus, all the good things were happening besides me wearing my fuzzy socks and watching every Lifetime movie possible. You know, I got my trademark. I surely did. Your girl is trademark. Well, Pink Dollhouse Marketing is trademark, but anything that falls under the Pink Dollhouse Marketing umbrella, including this podcast, is now protected by the government. And yes, I did the work. I did the work because I've noticed a trend that's happening in which creators are getting their work stolen, and we don't have time for that. No. So I will send a cease and desist if anyone tries to steal my content because she is trademarked. In fact, I should get a shirt that says she is trademarked. That'd be real cute, wouldn't it? But anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here to talk about all the things concerning marketing magic. And just to catch you up before we get into the episode, if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and listen to the Kickback with Carrie. I was recently a guest on her podcast, the very first episode. I feel real fancy or whatever. But Carrie and I talked about things around marketing and branding and creativity. And it was a really great conversation to start off her podcast journey. And then more importantly, for those who are impacted by the recent administration's decision around DEI, please know that my thoughts are definitely with you. I shared how I really felt on social media. I gave it the clean version because out of respect to my mama, I cleaned it up. But to give you an idea what the original version sound like, if you're familiar with the Tupac song in which he clapped back to Biggie, yeah, that was how much cussing I was doing. But again, out of respect to my mom and my grandmama, God rest her soul, I cleaned it up. I did clean it up. But anyway, on this week's show, we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban-ish that happened. Frenzy around Fanbase, the Black-owned social media app, the Target Black History Month collection, which I'm very excited about, darling. In fact, I think, doesn't that drop this weekend? I need to add the things to my cart or just walk my butt over to Target because I can't walk to Target. That was a light flex. I didn't mean it to be, but I mean, walking to Target. Won't he do it? Won't it will? And also, the Aaliyah Barbie that is now sold out. So grab your coffee and let's chat, y'all. So we're doing a tea today because in the back of my throat. So we got to make sure that we're taking care of our voice because the voice is part of the podcast. And if you want to know my tea mix, this is tea for the tea. I usually put 3 cough drops in my tea. A creamer. I like Chobani because I like a little razzle dazzle flavor for mine. And then I also do honey, organic honey preferably, but regular honey is fine. And then also I do like a chamomile or some kind of mints, to mix it up. And honestly, I got this from Miss Wendy Williams. I got this from Miss Wendy because Miss Wendy always put a little cough drop in her tea when she was doing her show. So shout out to you, Miss Wendy. You influence a lot of things. And even though you're not on our airways, your influence, honey, is felt everywhere. Okay, so like I was talking about, the TikTok ban-ish. And if you see me looking down at my screen, remember, I do bring notes to the discussion. I don't just be talking. I got receipts. All right, so first and foremost, the TikTok ban. Now, mind you, I pulled this article from the Associated Press, and we're going to do a brief history of the timeline of the ban just to get you up to speed for those who may have missed the news or the information. So, back in 2020, during the Panda Express, aka the pandemic, Trump issued a sweeping but vague executive order banning American companies from any transaction with ByteDance, who are the owners of TikTok and its subsidiaries. So subsidiaries means anything that falls underneath that umbrella. So things like CapCut, Lemonade, things like that. And then several days later, he issued a second order demanding that ByteDance divest itself of TikTok U.S. operations within 90 days. Now, speeding up the timeline, from December 2022 to roughly March 2023, there were multiple hearings heard around the ban, including interviewing the owner of ByteDance. And multiple times the interviewer of ByteDance had to keep clarifying that he is not from China. like multiple times that he was not from China. He had to keep telling them that he was not from China. I think he said he was from Singapore. But initially, there was a lot of concern around national security and what TikTok was doing to threaten national security when it came to the app, including government agencies asking employees to undownload the app from their phone or any of their devices because they were afraid for that national security. I kind of squint at that, and there was a reason why I squinted. And I believe I included that in my notes, but if not, we'll include that in our discussion. So, speeding along to March to April of 2024, last year. Despite calls from creators to stop the ban, the House and Congress, which I'd never seen them move this fast, moves ahead with passing the bill. Then Biden, former President Biden, respectfully, gave his signature, noting that the threat to national security and declaration for the owner of ByteDance to sell to a U.S. company or face a ban. So that was all part of what he signed into place with the bill. Speeding ahead to January 2025, the Supreme Court made a decision to uphold the law. And as someone who saw all the videos of creators saying, oh, they're not going to take away our freedom of speech, this violates X, Y, and Z, they did. They took it away. They upheld the bill. And so the app then was supposed to go dark on January 19th. Much to many of our surprise, the app actually went dark earlier. It went dark because I was on the app at the time watching all the goodbye videos and actually did a couple goodbye videos myself leading up to the impending ban, preparing my followers for me no longer being active on the platform. It went dark January 18th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And during those 20-ish hours that TikTok was giving its walking papers, a lot of us were trying to figure out, what are we going to do? How are we going to communicate with each other? So there were a lot of creators who were going over to Rednote, which ironically is an app owned by China. So it's kind of like their answer to Instagram meets maybe Pinterest or TikTok. It has similar features essentially. So a lot of creators were going over there and doing videos, saying that they were making the move to Rednote. There was also a lot of discourse around, should we continue to support this app if it were to come back? Should we be looking at more smaller apps or more apps funded by minority creators to support their initiatives? And there was a lot of discussion around, like, should we be deleting meta apps, which includes Instagram and Facebook? A lot of people were leaving X. It was a lot of things happening around this conversation. And for creators in the creative community, a lot of us were like, look, you can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on Threads, X, Y, and Z. Then the app came back. Like, you put us through all of that discourse just to have the app decide not to put in this 2 weeks notice on the last day. You know what I'm saying? And it was a decision by the current administration to allow for an extension from the ban. I believe they gave 75 or 90 days for the ban not to take place for them to divest. And then, catch 22, catch that T, the current administration tried to applaud themselves for bringing TikTok back, but were one of the ones who initially started the conversation to get it banned. Then, catch further T, because it's piping hot, turns out that the creator of Acebook, Ark Zuckerberg, because you know what I said, Ark Zuckerberg, was part of the reason why the momentum behind getting TikTok banned was so prevalent, because apparently their app was under fire for national security concerns. And as we all know, during the election before this one that just previously happened, there was actual evidence that there was infiltration by other foreign entities to influence the election results in terms of spreading misinformation through bots and other accounts. That was done through the apps that founder owns. Mm-hmm. And while the extension is happening, which a lot of creators are glad about, it does not answer the question of who is going to end up owning TikTok. The current administration has put out there that they want to have the US have 50% ownership of the platform, meaning that it will be a government owned social media platform. And if you're familiar with other regions of the world, this is aligned with media control at a new level. While we understand that they're always listening to us, this will take it to a whole new level in terms of controlling what we're able to see, controlling how we're able to interact, and also perhaps even banning certain information from being put out by creators who do not agree with their point of view. As a content creator, as a marketing strategist, and as someone who loves what social media has done in terms of building community, this is terrifying. This is terrifying because essentially what it's doing is, in a way, threatening how people can communicate with each other and making it so that if you do not fall in line with how that's being done, you can get removed or banned yourself. And then also for the people who have large and massive followings on social media and have complained about how X has become a cesspool, and also the other app, Facebook, has become a cesspool for aggression, for misinformation, for things that not are aligned with building safe community spaces. This is just another example of mobilizing that to an even more platforms. And then noting as well, my final note before we close, to go to the next segment, which will be the impact on creators, talking about from a content and monetization strategy. This is also very much terrifying because essentially by silencing people, you are allowing for louder voices to have more platforms to express that misinformation. And I'm trying to keep my thoughts as clean as possible because I don't want to run into any issues on various platforms for the things that I say. So I'm alluding to things and hoping that you catch that tea. Then for those who depend on TikTok for monetization, and let's take a step back there. When it comes to monetization and social media, there were so many people hating on those who are losing their platform through TikTok because they're like, oh, now you have to get a real job. Ding, ding, ding. Content creation is a real job. That takes a lot of skill. Just because you're cooking with, I don't know, Kayla did not take off the way cooking with Kaya did, don't be a jealous person. Okay, there's a skill with content creation that we need to learn how to respect. Being able to communicate with people that you may never see in real life through an audio or video platform takes a lot of skill to be relatable. It takes a lot of skill in thinking about these ideas and how you want to communicate said ideas. Just because it did not work out for you, do not wish for the downfall of others where it has worked out. Okay, and then the other thing too, social media has allowed for small business owners to truly compete in a space from a marketing and comms perspective that they could not afford to be in because they could not afford to place ads at a level a bigger company could. Social media even the playing field for them. It allowed them through content, through reaching out to content creators to either enjoy their product or visit their restaurant, however, their business was structured, to connect with people and connect with their target audience through audiences they may never have reached through a paid ad. Please be mindful that there's more that was impacted by this ban and also by the restructuring of social media as we're seeing it right now than we choose to realize. So many jobs were created. So much money was put back into the US economy because of TikTok with these small businesses and its creators. So instead of being mean-spirited and spiteful about this, how about you try to be empathetic and understanding what that truly meant for a lot of people and how pivoting to new platforms, you essentially are building from scratch. You're building your FYP and your followers brick by brick. And that takes time. There's no one viral video that you can put out that will automatically give you the same amount of followers or recognition than building an actual relationship with your audience can do. Then finally, on this topic about impact to creators. So as I mentioned, and I'll go also into our next topic, there was a lot of talk about pivoting to other apps and what that actually meant. One of the main apps that was brought up in the discussion was Fanbase. Fanbase, for those who don't know, is a Black-owned app that has surged in popularity due to the ban. The app itself actually came about, I think, in 2018. But let's tell the truth, shame the devil. When it comes to spaces like STEM, Black and minority or smaller communities do not have the same equity to build the way a multi-billion-dollar corporation is able to build. Like, for example, if a Black content creator decides to create a video editing app, right? Their app on the level of like a CapCut cannot compete money and placement wise that a CapCut can, because of the amount of money that's being put to push CapCut out as the main solution for video editing. Okay? So when you have Black funded or minority funded apps, it takes a lot of work to get the interface done correctly. It takes a lot of work to get user adaptability in terms of getting people to create content for that space. It takes a lot of work to build. And also in terms of the funding side of it, when it comes to funding, unfortunately for a lot of us, we don't have the same capital that people who are like venture capitalists can pump millions of dollars into something. We don't even get that same amount of capital. I think it's like less than 3% of capital is given to us for creating, tech apps or things in the technology space. So when you have a conversation about Fanbase, while it is not perfect, it is still a workable solution that can be looked to for the problem that was created by the TikTok ban. But let's read this article or a clip from this article from Black Enterprise. So according to Black Enterprise, the app founded by Isaac Hayes III, Hayes, who is the son of legendary R&B singer Isaac Hayes, founded the social media platform in 2018. According to its website, creators can directly earn revenue through their content. That is something different. Furthermore, users can gain money through their interactions on the app. The platform, while free, also has subscription tiers to go further with monetization. So, just to let you know where the app stands today, they have currently raised, at the time of this podcast episode, 5.2 million in crowdfunding as the ban was growing closer, right? So that number may have gone up, it may have slowed down. In terms of user capability, I have started building my content on Fanbase a little bit before the ban actually happened and have still been engaging on the platform. Being fair, this feedback is not to negate the amount of work it takes to create an app itself. I understand you have to do a lot of things like coding and building and, fixing bugs and this, that, and the other. But this is my professional take as a marketer and also as a user of these content platforms. A couple of the pros. The app's interface itself is very similar to popular apps like TikTok. So while the wording or placement may be different, the actual experience of the app is similar. So you can create short form video content, you can go live, you can do things like stories, stuff like that. What I do like is they offer an option where you can migrate your content from Instagram and TikTok directly to Fanbase through their migration link that they provide for users. It does take a while because of the amount of influx in downloads and also new user accounts. It did slow up the process for a lot of people. So there were complaints on different platforms that people were unable to migrate their content to Fanbase. One thing I do like is it has the ability to upload long form content from YouTube. So for my YouTube content creators, the ability to take your content and have it live on another platform outside of YouTube is a really great feature. And then you can also have that be part of your subscription model in which people subscribe to that content. So I do love that. And then also finally, he is providing an opportunity for people to invest in shares of the app. So one thing we talk about a lot as a community is ownership, building generational wealth. You know, the conversation that happened on the Shade Room every Wednesday at 2:00. Yeah. So the fact that with, to me, a small investment, I think it's like under $500 or something like that. For a small investment, you're able to own equity in this app. And that is really big because considering how the technology space is very much like almost a closed door club, in which if you don't have thousands or millions of dollars to invest, you're not included in the conversation. So for a small investment, being able to have equitable shares in an app that has potential to be worth millions or billions of dollars in the future, depending on the growth projections for growth, is a really great thing. For the areas of opportunity, noting again, as a user of the app and also from my professional perspective, there are areas for growth for this app so it can remain a competitor in the space. Right now, to me, the content, voice, or aesthetic of the app is not clear based on the content that users are creating. Right now, I'm a little bit confused as to who the fan base user is, who's on there, like what is the goal of what they're creating. For example, TikTok was known for just showing up as who you are, right? So how I am right now with a sweatshirt on, very chill, no full face of makeup, would be how I would show up on TikTok. Whereas Instagram is all about an aesthetic, how perfect you look, how over filtered you can be, how awesome your life presents to be, right? And Facebook, I don't even go on Facebook because I think everybody's asleep on that app. Like, who is over there? Who gonna be there? That's what I want to know. Who all gonna be there when it comes to Facebook? And then when I'm looking at Fanbase, I don't know who Fanbase is yet in terms of their aesthetic that they're creating from the content that's being pushed out by their users. While it has potential, again, with widespread adoption, I do think an updated interface is needed to take the platform to the next level. I do. I think things like strategic partnerships with well-known content creators to create original content for the platform, like, short form series, just making sure that they're encouraging their followers to join like some kind of ambassador program, or leveraging more the popular content creators that have grown off of Fanbase and creating a campaign from that, which I've seen some videos, but I need like a stronger push to really drive that messaging home. Then we need to think about, okay, while this is a social media app, in-person engagement is still very important, right? So doing in-person activations to build their fan base, perhaps doing things like college tours to really get that Gen Z audience, perhaps partnering with sports team because it is called Fanbase. So maybe doing a partnership with a local sports team like like the WNBA, or maybe like a minor league team or baseball, like diversifying their voice through different platforms that doesn't lean on social media to tell the whole story, to drive awareness. And then another thing that they could do, which will be picking off of other apps, but developing a creator academy to tie in also the impact of pushing creators and monetization on the platform, to teach them how to do that properly, and also tie in some of those DEI initiatives that are currently under attack. But more importantly, making sure that you're clearing up that on Fanbase, if users decide to monetize content behind a paywall, just knowing and speaking to the fact that regular followers cannot see it without subscribing. And I think that's one of the challenges that I'm running into, because I'm looking for content of the people that I've started following on Fanbase, but I can't see anything, because it may be that people are deciding to put theirs behind a subscription model so they can get paid for their content. But how am I supposed to pay for your content if I don't know what your content is like yet? That don't make no sense. That's just me. But more importantly, I do think that there's a lot of potential in the app. I do think that there's growth for this app as well. I would just love to see more of that cross collaboration, maybe linking up with Spill, because Spill has done a phenomenal job in terms of building their audience. I am also on Spill as well, under Andy Sachs Sweater if you want to follow me. But I love how Spill has created a community, but also understands leveraging content creators to amplify their messaging. For example, they work with Corporate Aaron, which is one of the favorite accounts that I've followed on social media, to hold a staff meeting, tying in Spill to get people to come over to the app to be part of the staff meeting. They've been very smart about how they move. And also Spill's interface, while at first it needed work to work out the kinks and the bugs, have really found their stride in building an interface that's not only seamless to use, beautiful, but also interactive, right? In terms of the type of content that you're going to see. So I think there's potential there. I would love to see growth for the platform, but right now, it's still too new for me to make a full judgment, but those are my notes. Okay. Next up, one of my favorite places to go, darling, Target is launching their new Black History Month collection. Now, for me, this is one of my favorite times of year. This is one of my favorite times of year. I love that Black History collection from Target. Yes, I do. And also, shout out to Winnie Weston, one of my favorite content creators who will also be coming on the pod to talk about her business with Winnie Weston. Her name is Justine, but I call her Winnie because that's how I met her. Her mom named Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. But she actually did a collection with Target last year for her art, and I purchased it, different prints, and also a paint by numbers and a couple other things that she created for the collection. But Target is dropping the new collection and gave a sneak peek through a Black content creator on Instagram showing a build out in store. So a build out, essentially, y'all, is when a business has in the front of the store or in a high traffic area a display of the latest collection that they want you to shop. They want it to be the first thing that you see so you can pick it up, you can look at it, put it in your cart, while you're getting the things that you actually came in for. So that build out shows the newest collection. It shows like a display of like books, vinyls, artwork, things like that. The main thing that I love about the Black History Month collection is how Target is very purposeful in working with small creators and also amplifying the next generation of talent. Last year for the collection, they actually partnered with HBCUs to do a limited edition design. And then that design itself was featured on an actual clothing item for Target. So this year, the collection will drop, like I mentioned, on January 26th. And they are, again, partnering and amplifying with small designers and businesses featuring that build out or in-store shop. There will also be, and I think it already went live, a landing page on the website as well as the app. Please note that collection sell out very quickly. So if it says January 26th, I need you to get on the app expeditiously. I need you to get on that app expeditiously because you will be fighting for your life trying to get an item from that collection. Yes, you will, because it was me last year. It surely was. It surely was. And then more importantly, as DEI continues to be under attack, I appreciate that Target is standing 10 toes down and recognizing the importance of who their customers are and what they bring to the table. And also, what I love about Target too is this Black History Month collection is not just one time a year. Target says they about that life all year long. Target has brands like Tabitha Brown, who I love. Very good. Tabitha Brown, our auntie. Then they also have the lip bar. I swear by the lip bar when it comes to my lip gloss, and I also love their mascara and their tinted moisturizer. I even put my mama on to that tinted moisturizer. And then also, like I mentioned, Winnie Weston. The creator of Winnie Weston, Justine, she has also other items in Target that are carried all year round. So the great thing about Target, and if you want to learn more, I linked the Instagram post in the show notes. The great thing about Target is they continue to amplify voices that will otherwise be silenced in other spaces. So I see you, Target. I'm going to see you probably tomorrow. I'm going to come on over and see what you got, okay? So I can add it to my cart. All right. In our final story, y'all remember Aaliyah? My elder millennials, I need you to come to the front, elder millennials. How you doing? Remember Aaliyah? Let's go back to in the day, shall we? Remember when we had that one bang swoop that was so close to the top of our eye, we blinked too hard, we get some hair in it? Yes. Remember when we were going, love you, babe, love you, babe, love you, babe. Yes, that Aaliyah. So Aaliyah has recently launched, well, Aaliyah's estate recently launched a collaboration with Barbie. And this came from Rolling Stone. I pulled this article from Rolling Stone. So, from Rolling Stone, the latest entry in the Mattel Creations growing musical series, the Aaliyah Signature Doll, celebrates the late singer's birthday and her lasting influence on hip hop culture. The Barbie team worked closely with Aaliyah's brother, Rashad Houghton, not only to develop the concept for the doll, but to make sure they were accurately capturing and celebrating her legacy and persona. To let you know, if y'all looking for this doll, I'm sorry. The doll sold out in a matter of minutes. I even was messaging my uncle because I know my auntie is a huge fan of Aaliyah, to tell him before the doll launch, get on your Zoom, sir. Get on your Zoom. Get her that doll because she gonna want it. Now, for those who still want the doll and it may be sold out on Barbie.com or Mattel, good news. Our good sis Target is doing a pre-sale right now if you want to do a pre-order for the doll. So there's still hope for someone getting their hands on the limited edition Barbie series. Now, for those who did not know, to take a step back, Aaliyah passed away in 2001. She was 22 at the time of her death. To give context how long ago that was, I was roughly 12 or 13 when Aaliyah passed, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. We were at church. It was a Sunday. My mama had just got finished singing in a choir because she used to sing in the choir on Sundays. Yes, I'm one of them kids who grew up in church. Yes, I am. And I heard that Aaliyah had passed in a plane crash. And I was like, there's no way. No way. And it was true. She had passed away after leaving the Bahamas from filming a video. And it was in one of those smaller planes, not like a commercial plane, but like a smaller passenger plane. There is speculation that there's was something fishy around her death, but the main reason for her death was because there was too much weight on the actual plane itself, which caused the plane to crash. Now, while Aaliyah has passed, her musical influence has remained. There are a lot of singers who are influenced by Aaliyah. I can't name all of them off the top of my head, but the girls were studying her, and the influence is definitely there. One person I can know, and this could be arguable, but Tiana Taylor, to me, has a lot of Aaliyah influence in her in the way that she approaches R&B. And then I also know that Aaliyah, she had a song posthumously with The Weeknd a few years ago that he did through his music with her estate's permission. And Aaliyah, to this day, when you hear that baby cry, that by Timbaland, it's still one of the most influential songs, and we cannot deny her influence and impact on the industry. If Aaliyah were alive today, I do think that she will still have that level of impact because of what she has done in the musical space. We're not going to mention the other things around Aaliyah because that's not part of her legacy nor who she is. We're only focusing on her talents. So, to close it out, Aaliyah joins other musical icons like Gloria Estefan, David Bowie, and the legend, the icon of the moment, Miss Tina Turner. All right. So, that is the end of our episode. I know, right? We just got here. I didn't even finish my tea. Anyway, I really appreciate you for joining. I hope you enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow my new social media platform for the podcast, Coffee with Yvonne on Instagram and Coffee with Yvonne on Threads. If you would like to, which I would love for you to, you can also sign up for my newsletter to get personalized audio and video content, Coffee with Yvonne podcast episode clips and updates, and for a little sprinkle for some razzle dazzle, my marketing magic of the week. For my personal account, you can find me on IG at Yvonne_creative marketer. Same thing with TikTok, aka the Clock app. I'm on the same thing, as well as Fanbase. To learn more about me and my business, you can go ahead and visit pinkdollhousemarketing.com, or you can also find me on Instagram. I got a lot of socials. I do. I have a lot of socials. You can find me on Instagram at Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. Thank you so much for listening to the show or watching on YouTube, and I cannot wait to chat with you soon. Okay, bye! I gotta finish this tea. Man, that's good. Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.